What's up, squad? Back with another video. I'm Recklezz, fam. We got another video. You know what I'm saying? Only video probably gonna be dropping today, so make sure y'all stay tuned for other ones when I drop tomorrow. This is Vivek Ramaswamy ending everybody's career in the RNC debate. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe button. Definitely geeked to get in this reaction. You feel me? Wanted to actually react to this. What was it? When this actually dropped, when the clips was actually dropped, I think it was like a few days ago. But finally here and get to see Officer Tatum's input on it. So definitely lit. Let's get in the video.
You raise your hand supporting.
No, I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man.
The fact that he agreed is crazy. It's the intro. Let's go ahead and jump right into this, y'all.
Top finishers, the top four, I would say. Number one is Vivek Ramaswamy. I thought he did an incredible job. He was clean.
Make sure y'all go check out Officer Tatum. I'm sure a lot of y'all have, but if y'all haven't, make sure y'all go check out his channel. Definitely love his insight on things and what he got to say. Is somebody that I definitely look up to when it comes to the political type.
He was smooth, he was articulate, he was bold, he was forward thinking, and he didn't fall into the trap of trying to bash Donald Trump. He stood firm on that end, and he stood firm on what he would do for this country. And I felt like he emerged as the person who's not an insider. He was an outsider, a man that's very successful, young and enthusiastic. And I thought it came across very, very well. I don't think it was a single point that he made that I don't think he did an incredible job with.
People are dying of bad climate change policies. This isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy, drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed. Stabilize the U.S. dollar.
I mean, that makes sense though. Like, not wanting. Why would you pay somebody that has that ability to go out and work? You know, you had the ability to go out and work, but you rather stay home, and then you get paid more. And it's crazy. When I was a lot of people getting what do you call it? I forgot what you call it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They was getting the checks, getting the checks, and it can't come to my mind for some reason. I'm not, feeling well. I shouldn't blame that all, but I'm sick. But it was something. They was getting, checks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people had the ability to go out and work, and they was actually getting paid more than a lot of jobs, and it was a little bit crazy.
Or to stay at home, reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine.
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America.
So, to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that frankly every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country.
And I like how he said that too, including my mother. I like how he said that. That's dope. That's real.
Have to pass the same civics test that frankly every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
Second would be Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis secured himself, in the top 3 position because Ron DeSantis had a lot of accomplishments that he was able to tout, and those accomplishments are not falling on deaf ears for the American people. I think Ron DeSantis has an incredible resume as a politician, probably the best resume out of all the politicians in the race outside of Donald Trump. So I think he did a really good job of being smooth on his points, standing up and being a leader. You know, when he had to get confrontational, he was.
It's not a territorial dispute
President
either.
of the United States, your first obligation is to defend our country and its people. And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people who are being killed because, well, we're not handling both. And so I am going to declare it a national emergency. I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. This election is not about January 6th of 2021. It's about January 20th of 2025, when the next president is going to take office. I know what the Democrats would like to do. They want to talk about all these other issues, but we've got to focus on your future. One of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said, no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present. You've got to be helping people who are doing this.
I think the third place goes to
Ron DeSantis definitely, he definitely had a lot to say. He had a lot to say, and I can see a lot of what he said. My thing is, when it comes to, you know, them talking about these different things, I want them to keep their word. You know, I want them to keep their word. I want them to be honest. I want them, you know, to have that. Me personally, I have a top three. I have a top three of who I like ever since, you know, looking at videos and reading different articles and, you know, seeing different things. But it's definitely
people who are doing this.
I think the third place goes to, and I don't really like to say this because I don't really like Nikki Haley that much as a politician, but Nikki Haley, she emerged as probably in the third place position, or maybe third or fourth. I don't know if she
I haven't seen anything about Nikki Haley.
Better job than Mike Pence or Tim Scott. But I will say, if I had to choose somebody for that third place position, it probably would be Nikki Haley. I thought that Mike Pence did an okay job. I thought he was okay. I still think he is positioned as a rhino, and he was legitimately neutered by Donald Trump, and I think it's hard to overcome that. I didn't like the fact that Nikki Haley tried to play the woman card a few times.
Hold on. Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you bought and paid
what
for?
I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
No living being should ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
But overall, I think her approach was smooth. She at least had an argument. She at least was very confident about her argument. And so that's why I give her the number 3 position, you know, kind of teetering between number 3 and 4. I think Tim Scott did okay. I think he was average. He said the things I expected him to say.
You commit a violent crime.
And I feel like that's something that you want, but then again, it's like, oh, I knew he was going to say that. So it's really not surprising.
He said the things I expected him to say.
You commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men. We should be asking ourselves a bigger question about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing I'll do is fire Merrick Garland. Second thing I'll do, fire Christopher Wray, because we need Lady Justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence in our justice system. 17% of Republicans have confidence in our Department of Justice.
He didn't say anything that I think was overtly controversial.
I think it was more so if Tim Scott went in there and had, you know how when a person kind of got the idea of what they want to say, speaking from the heart, you know, saying what they really feel. I feel like Tim Scott really wasn't in that category. It was more so of him, you know, just had it written down, you know what I'm saying? You can tell, like, when a person, like, just me looking at him, like, I don't know. It just gave me like this nervous vibe from Tim Scott. I don't know. That was my first time seeing him, but it gave me a nervous vibe.
He say anything that put him above everybody else. I think he was just status quo. The rest of the people, Christie and all of them, I mean, they really have no chance. I thought they added some value in the conversation, but they have no chance to become the president of the United States of America. But let me get to a couple points that I want to make about their arguments. I was very disappointed that everybody on the stage, Vivek didn't have a chance to give his side of it when it came to the abortion argument.
We need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man.
I think it's very clear that the country should at least be able to meet in the middle on heartbeat.
But didn't she say that she's pro-life though? I'm pretty sure she said that she's pro-life.
They wanted to meet in the middle on 15 weeks. You know dang well you're pregnant with a baby at 15 weeks. You understand how big? I mean, 15 weeks, give or take.
15 weeks is a long time.
Do the math. That's about 4 months.
4 months.
You know how far along you are.
Some people, I don't know. I agree with most of what Officer Tatum is saying, but there's been some times that some people don't. I don't know how though, because I've seen videos and everything like over the 4 months. So I don't know. Me personally, I'm a man, so I don't really. You're not gonna know those feelings. I mean, the women that's in the comments. What are y'all thoughts on it? The women that has actually been pregnant, but I don't. And I'm kind of mad that Chris is in there with Rennie right now, because I would definitely ask, but.
If you do the math, that's about 4 months. You know how far along you are at around 4 months pregnant. You only got 9 of them. And so I think that if we want to make a concession or a compromise, we should do it at the heartbeat. How do you know when a human being is alive, the heart started beating? How do you know when a human being is deceased, the heart stopped beating at minimum?
And actually, like I want to be real too. Like when I first Rennie will be 3 next April. When I got the news, first of all, me and Chris, we got the news. My mind really wasn't there. I was, young, still a little, only 25, a little young, and I wasn't looking, to have kids or anything like that. And we certainly weren't expecting it. And a lot of people don't, most people don't. You get pregnant, but I didn't know what to do. My first thought was abortion, of course. And that's just what I knew until I thought about things, how would I actually feel about that. I'm pretty sure God was in the back of my mind, like, dang, like what should I do in this situation, and just thinking, like, I don't really know what to do. And then it came to my senses, and everybody was, especially Chris was looking at me like, why, like looking at me all crazy. And I was like, I don't know. Like I'm a dude. I'm young. I haven't experienced nothing like this. And thought about it. Kept thinking about it. And I don't even think it took me I know it didn't take no more than a week. I was ready. I had to talk. I'm pretty sure with my parents, with my grandmother, and stuff like that. And I can't remember if I had a talk with God. I am closer with God now. And I don't want to lie and say, oh yeah, I was talking to God, especially it being so long ago. I don't support that. I don't support that. I definitely think that if you lay in a bed with somebody, you have that child. You have that child, and 'cause that's another human being. It's a heartbeat inside of you, and it feels different, especially when you get to see your kid for the first time. Love, be here within this week or next week, hopefully. And just seeing your kid for the first time actually is one amazing thing. It's definitely an amazing thing that a lot of people don't understand until you see your child or see the heartbeat, see the told you I'm sick. I'm not even remembering. The little picture thing. I know the word for it. But the ultrasound. But it's is that, you know, and I'm not about to sit here and, you know, act like I wasn't in that position. But a lot of people, they run to that, you know, of abortion. And some people don't, you know, need kids, but there's other options. There's other options. And I feel like that's what's most important, because there's a lot of people that shouldn't have, you know, kids, but it's something that happens, you know, so that's just my input on it.
We should be able to come together on the heartbeat bill, or the 6 week, I think it was about 6 weeks, where the heartbeat is detected. Now, I'm the type of person that says life starts at conception, not perception. But I believe as a nation, we should be able to come together on the heartbeat bill. Because if you start saying 15 weeks, what's the difference between 15 and 16? Or is that's when the baby can feel pain? I mean, what's the difference between 16 and 17? Before you know it, they're at 30 some weeks, and that's no different than 15 weeks. I think we have to have a set period that makes sense. And if they want to meet in the middle, give a person the time to know they're pregnant. Listen, you don't walk down the street, slip on a banana peel, and get pregnant. So if you were bumping and grinding, pumping and sweating the night before, you should at some point be curious as to whether or not I'm pregnant because of what I did last night. And so I don't think it's that hard of an issue.
Or, you know, the same situation what I was saying, being curious about that, of course, because especially, you know, protection, no protection, it happens all the time. I feel like that's something that you should think about when you lay in bed with somebody. Is we all make choices at the end of the day. We all make choices. And
I wish Republicans would take a strong stance. You can still take a strong stance and be compassionate. The abortion issue should never have been federal. Now, the reason why it should never have been federal, because there's not a constitutional protection for somebody to murder their children. There is a constitutional protection of life. And I think that on a federal level, you can make restrictions on murder. You know, there's no such thing as giving freedom to murder, but you can't restrict murder. That's exactly what it is. They just try to fancy it up and dice it up and make it whatever it is. And I say this, you can still have a compassionate approach. God can still forgive people for doing that. We do need to elevate adoptions and helping women who have children, calling men to take care of their responsibility.
And that's why I say, before the video, it just why I can agree with Officer Tatum and having that same, you know, thoughts on things as Officer Tatum and what he's saying, because everything that I said or everything that I'm thinking is literally like responsibility.
You're laid up. You should be able to take care of the kid. Those things can happen at the same time. The Ukraine thing was another thing that I was a little disappointed on, because most of the candidates except Vivek, I think Ron DeSantis kind of barely put his hand up. I don't think he clearly answered it, but they were all in favor of funding or passing legislation to continue to fund Ukraine.
And Ramaswamy got his hand all the way up.
And I thought that Pence had a really good explanation in regards to his support for it. But I like Vivek's response, because I think Vivek mimics the response of people like myself that believe we should be focused on America first. We shouldn't be fighting a proxy war with Russia.
Facts.
I just really think we're going to end up in a nuclear war, because Russia can get backed up against the wall only so far before we get into a real conflict. So I was disappointed with the race, but Vivek came through and said what he had to say. I mean, school choice, everybody was on the same page with school choice.
And I feel like when Vivek did that, a lot of people looked at him like, oh, he for real for America. And I feel like that's just, raise your hand high, you on his tippy toes. And everybody else, they just, I mean, that's
choice. Most people are on the same page with the economy, same page with fracking and all of the things that we should have been doing for clean energy. Most people were against the electric, you know, the Green New Deal type stuff. And I think that is conducive as a Republican to give a Republican message. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much on this. I thought I'd give my synopsis. I thought they did a really good job. I haven't watched Trump's speech yet, but I thought all the candidates did a decent job. I think.
And where is Trump's speech? If y'all got it, please comment down below.
As number one, in my opinion. So I think he's going to surge in the poll. I think he was clean. He was concise. He was relatable. He was likable. And it felt like his speech wasn't rehearsed. It seemed like he kind of came off the heart. So I just want to give my commentary, man. I'm at the end.
Definitely make sure y'all go check out Officer Tatum. Definitely, like I said, somebody that I definitely look up to. Love his thoughts on a lot of things. Definitely, you know, makes sense. You know, definitely got to check out more of the debate. If y'all can comment down Trump speech. That'll be dope if it's out. But definitely appreciate everybody tuning in and watching this reaction. Definitely much love to everybody. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in and watching these reactions. Catch y'all next time.